Hey, good morning, friends. Welcome to the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for being here. Our number today, 844-236-6010. If you have questions, comments, success stories you'd like to share, or if you have a health challenge you need help with, 844-236-6010. If you just want to contribute to the conversation, we love hearing from you. 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. We'll be talking to Dr. Kaz Ingram, a regular guest on the bright side. At the bottom of the hour, we'll be talking about using nutrition and herbs to beat the blues. 5 ways to beat the blues is the subject. And Dr. Kaz Ingram is a wealth of information. We'll be speaking to him at the bottom of the hour. And we'll get your calls in our next segment, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Also, think about clicking on the Join the Team link if you're interested in starting a home-based business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you like the entrepreneur lifestyle, and it's not for everybody, admittedly, but if it is for you, this is an incredible business opportunity, a business opportunity that will help you make money and help change the world at the same time, help change the world at the most fundamental level there is, which is the power of health and the power of nutrition. Call 866-735-2470 if you'd like to speak to a real person, or just click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All right, our number today, 844-236-6010, and Kaz Ingram, 5 ways to beat the blues, coming up at the bottom of the hour. So we've been talking about the medicinal properties of mushrooms, yeast, molds, mildew, all members of the fungal kingdom. The 4 main members of the fungal kingdom are mushrooms, yeast, molds, and mildew. Molds and mildew are kind of similar. The fungal kingdom itself is one of the 4 major divisions of biological life on planet Earth. And the 4 major divisions are bacteria, animals, plants, and fungus. So fungus is one of the fundamental kingdoms of life. When most of us think of fungus, we think of mushrooms, particularly the tasty ones, porcini, truffles, chanterelles, shiitake, maitake, oyster mushrooms, reishi mushrooms, portobello mushrooms. Every year we spend around $60 billion a year around the world on edible mushrooms. And of course, mushrooms aren't the only way that human beings get nutritional, medicinal, and therapeutic values from fungus, from the fungal kingdom. There are also the molds, which come in thousands of varieties that can be recognized by their fuzzy appearance, sometimes bluish, greenish, whitish, fuzzy appearance. I remember when I was a kid and we used to play baseball, and invariably the baseball would go into the creek. And then I put the baseball in the closet, and a couple days later, the baseball would be covered with this green coating of mold. If you ever opened up a refrigerator and pulled out some oranges that you may have had in the crisper for a little bit too long, you see this green coating on there. You may have been grossed out, but that green coating can be life-saving. Antibiotics come from these green coated molds or green coating molds. We get enzymes from molds. Soy foods are often fermented with molds. Wine grapes can be fermented with molds. They call it the noble rot. Salamis can be fermented with molds. These are all good molds. Cheeses like blue cheese and brie cheese depend on mold. Last time we were speaking, we talked about a mold called koji, K-O-J-I, which is known as the official mold of Japan. It's derived from a special mold, a fungus called Aspergillus, and it's used to make the mold-infused rice called koji rice. It's basically made the same as the red rice that we talked about last week. Red rice is a type of rice that's made by sprinkling a fungus called Monoscus purpurea on top of the rice. It turns the rice red, and this red rice, actually called red yeast rice, is actually a source of natural cholesterol-lowering substances, including lovastatin, which is known as Mevacor. Well, red or koji rice is made similarly, except instead of the Monoscus purpurea, you're going to inoculate it with koji, or technically Aspergillus oryzae. Oryzae means rice. It's a different type of fungus. And this fermentation process, as this Aspergillus oryzae eats the rice or ferments the rice, it releases enzymes, and these enzymes break down carbohydrates and protein, makes the rice a little bit easier to digest. It adds in some probiotics. It gives it an interesting sweet taste, a sweet sort of tart taste. Excuse me. And that's not all. Not just enzymes, not just taste. Koji rice is also a great source of antioxidants, especially something called ferulic acid, which if you're buying high-end skincare products, you might have seen ferulic acid. Ferulic acid is an antioxidant that's found in plants and bacteria. Ferulic acid can be used topically to protect your skin from the sun. You'll get B vitamins in your koji rice, including biotin and folic acid. Biotin is very important for the skin. Recently, just reading an article today, actually, biotin is actually associated. Biotin supplementation can actually help you prevent dementia. This is from Medical Express. Research on the Public Library of Science. Biotin and dementia. Research reveals a connection. Authors are now looking at using biotin and biotin supplementation. Biotin's known as vitamin H, by the way, to help folks prevent or help folks deal with dementia. Biotin has gotten a reputation for being a skin vitamin, but it's good for all kinds of things. Biotin helps basically it's an energy, like all the B vitamins. It's one of the ways that the body or cells specifically obtain energy. Biotin deficiency is not really common, but nonetheless, a lot of folks think that they can use biotin to help with skin health, and you can get biotin supplements. Well, koji rice is a great source of biotin, as well as folic acid, as well as digestive enzymes. You're even going to get a little bit of GABA from your koji rice. GABA, well known for having relaxing properties. If you're diabetic, koji can also help stabilize your blood sugar, and it may even help you drop some pounds. According to research from Kagoshima University in Japan, koji can help you reduce body weight as well as reduce blood sugar. Scientists found that satiety-inducing chemistry, that means that appetite suppressant properties, can also be found in koji rice. What's more, koji may also have a protective effect on alcoholic liver disease, and presumably metabolic syndrome in general, which affects the liver. Some of this may have to do with something called citric acid, which is found in koji rice as part of the fermentation process. Citric acid supports fat burning. And bonus, citric acid is a natural chelating agent for cleaning out the blood. This is all from this delicious koji rice food. You can see why koji is considered to be the official mold of Japan. And as far as skincare goes, speaking of skin, koji rice also contains something called kojic acid. And kojic acid has got some really interesting skin lightening properties. In fact, kojic acid is considered one of the go-to skin lightening topical ingredients. Now, I have to tell you, I haven't personally seen great results with kojic acid, and I've been using kojic acid for many, many years. Nonetheless, if you're looking for skin lightening products, you're probably going to find kojic acid in at least some of them. You can make your own skin lightener with kojic acid by using koji rice. You can make some koji rice, enjoy all the delicious benefits of koji rice, the nutritional benefits of koji rice, and then save the water and make your own skin lightener. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. We are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lines open for you, 844-236-6010. Hang on. If you're on hold, we'll get to you in just a moment. Dr. Kaz Ingram will be with us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk about nutritional and herbal strategies to beat the blues. Kaz is always full of great information. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. And we'll get your calls at 844-236-6010 on this segment. So hang tight. We'll be right with you. From the journal Pure J, rice koji reduced body weight gain, fat accumulation, and blood glucose level in high-fat diet induced obese mice. Rice koji is a functional food. You can make your own rice koji. You'll get all kinds of nutritional benefits from it, and you'll even get skin benefits if you save your water. You can save the water and make your own rice koji or kojic acid-rich skin lightener. Now, I haven't really found great results with kojic acid as a skin lightener. Nonetheless, in most, or in many, I'll say, many topical skin lightening products, kojic acid is a featured ingredient. If you want to make your own skin lightener and enjoy all the delicious benefits, delicious taste benefits plus health benefits of kojic acids, just make your koji rice, sprinkle some Aspergillus oryzae, which you can get off the internet, onto your rice. Let it sit for a couple of days, and then make your rice as always. And then when you are making your rice, kind of save the water and strain the fluid out. and keep the fluid in the fridge. And then once or twice a day, just apply a little bit to your dark spots. Your Koji toner is not going to be as powerful a skin lightener as something like hydroquinone or retinol, which are really strong and really effective skin lightener. It won't even be as strong as vitamin C probably, but you will probably get a little bit of skin lightening benefits, and you'll definitely be getting some skin health benefits because kojic acid is an exfoliating agent. You'll also get some citric acid in there, and you'll also get some ferulic acid, which is a wonderful antioxidant. And of course, you'll get the B vitamins like biotin. You'll get some enzymes. And then save the liquid and use it as a starter for the next time you want to make your koji rice, the next koji rice that you want to make. That's one of the beautiful things about making your own fermented products is you have the starter for life. Just save the fluid and then reuse it for any time you want to make koji rice or you can do that with any kind of fermented food product. So fungus, lots of great benefits that we get from fungus, lots of health benefits that we get from fungus. We have fungus in our bodies. This is really important because when we think of fungus in terms of biology or in terms of our bodies, we're always thinking of fungal infections. And we're going to spend some time talking about these fungal infections, which are definitely problematic. But we also have good fungus. We have a mycobiome, just like we have a microbiome. Myco, M-Y-C-O, is the prefix for mushroom or fungus. And we have a mycobiome, just like we have a microbiome. In fact, the mycobiome is technically part of the microbiome, and that is the universe of microbes that live in our bodies. This is so amazing to me, that our bodies house trillions and trillions and trillions, in fact, quadrillions of microbes that help us stay healthy. Bacteria that helps us stay healthy, fungus that helps us stay healthy, parasites that help us stay healthy, viruses that help us stay healthy. I wonder if the average person knows that viruses live in the body and help us stay healthy. We have a virome, like we have a microbiome, like we have a mycobiome, even a parasitome, even good parasites in the body. How amazing is it that we're walking, living, breathing colonies of microbes that are living their own lives independently in our tear ducts, in our eyelashes, on our skin, in our intestine, and in our lungs, head to toe pretty much. Even in our very genetics, we have viral genes. Really, it's really kind of an interesting idea that we're not even us. We're just like walking carrying cases for microbes. Amazing. The amazing universe of biology. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to the phones and talk to our friend Elaine in Alaska. What's up, Elaine? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I wish you were on national news every night.
It's really interesting stuff, isn't it? That's what we should all be talking about. Instead
exactly.
Of this. So what's going on today, Elaine? How you feeling?
Hey, doing, making lemonade with the lemons of life. And
okay, good.
Just update on my patient that she didn't get a definitive diagnosis of lichen planus. She kind of had all those breakouts just kind of all over her body, groin, kind of the lymphatic chain on the chest, armpits. Anyway, she did some, I don't know what your opinion is on hair analysis, but the test came back very high in bismuth. And she had kind of recently switched to these kind of natural, I don't want to say the company name, but like natural makeup. So she stopped doing that, and she'll do like a hair analysis, I don't know, in a year or something. So just any advice for her?
Bismuth is a metal. It's very unlikely that bismuth is going to get into her bloodstream when she applies through topically applied foundation. Highly unlikely. Are you saying she had blood levels of bismuth or hair? It was in her hair?
They did a hair analysis.
And she found bismuth in the hair. And
the lab or wherever she went to, that it was just off the charts bismuth. That was the only one that just was off the charts.
Well, first of all, I'm not convinced that hair analysis is all that and a bag of chips, and there could be some contamination. Could be some contamination. Bismuth can cause some problems. There's no doubt about it, particularly kidney problems. But I don't know that putting bismuth on top of your skin, it's kind of a big mineral, is going to make it through the skin. It's a medicine. It's the active ingredient Pepto-Bismol, and it has medicinal properties. And it's considered to be kind of a heavy metal, even though it's a complex of metals. So bismuth toxicity is not unheard of, and it could be related to all kinds of problems. But lichen planus is more like an inflammatory condition. This is something coming into the bloodstream. While she could be taught, I'm not saying that's not the case. What I would be looking at, as always, when you have and it's an autoimmune problem, by the way, lichen planus, the body's immune system attacks the skin cells specifically. Keratinocytes, they're called, cells that make keratin. So it's an autoimmune disease of the keratinocytes. Whenever you have an autoimmune disease, the first thing you want to do is focus on the bloodstream. And how do things get into the bloodstream? Through foods. Now, keep in mind, nobody just has lichen planus. Healthy bodies do not get lichen planus. So there's got to be something else going on, and you can't address the lichen planus by itself. But what you can do is you can kind of triangulate and see what's causing the lichen planus by looking for other symptoms. Looking for 2 or 3 other symptoms, and you kind of get a picture of what's happening in the body. So what else is going on with this woman? Is she on any medication? Or do you know? I don't mean to...
No meds, but very, very high stress. And she's working on that.
What else is going on, though? Stress is part of it, probably, but what else is going on? There's got to be some other health issues. Digestive issues. What else?
Digestive issues for sure. Emotional issues for sure. So, right, the whole picture.
It's a whole picture, and lichen planus can be very uncomfortable. It can be unattractive. You know, she has it just on her. Did you say her scalp? Where does she have the lichen planus?
Like armpits, abdomen, low back, and kind of groin area. Yeah,
it can be absolutely miserable. Sometimes get in your mouth. You can get in your genitals. I mean, it's awful. So I'd be looking at food. In fact, this is a woman who should probably be fasting for a couple of days, and then starting to eat again and seeing what foods are causing problems. That's the first thing I would be doing. All right, I got to take a break here. We got Dr. Ingram coming up. Thanks, Elaine. Appreciate your call. I'm pharmacist Ben Kaz Ingram coming up in our next segment. Don't go away. We are back on the bright side. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on the archive page at benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that up with a search engine, no less. If you miss a program or want to review a topic, you can check it out at benfuchsarchives.com. Also, brightsideben.com. We've got an archive page as well as a search engine, and you'll find the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com, as well as a Join the Team link that you can click on if you want to start a longevity business, start a home-based business that helps change the world at the most fundamental level there is, which is the level of good health and nutrition. Call 866-735-2470 if you'd like to speak to a real live human being, or just click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds and treating skin diseases. As it turns out, health equals beauty. No surprise, skin health also equals skin beauty. And all our True Skin Health products are made without preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, silicone, vegetable oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want, just 100% active and functional ingredients. And this is why we have 1,500 plus 4- and 5-star reviews. You can check them out at truthreview.com and purchase Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, I am super excited to speak to our guest, a friend of the Bright Side. He's been on multiple times. Dr. Kaz Ingram is a wealth of information. We're going to talk about 5 ways to beat the blues with Dr. Ingram. Please welcome to the Bright Side my friend, Dr. Kaz Ingram. Good morning, Kaz.
How are you doing? Don't be such a stranger. Keep in touch now.
I will keep in touch with you. I've been thinking about you, and I was very excited when Crystal said, hey, you want to have Kaz on? I said, heck yes, I'd love to have Kaz on.
Yeah.
What have you been doing you can't go to shows, right? I know you love going to shows and talking to the folks. What are you doing now?
I do quite a bit with the YouTube and Facebook.
Got it.
I'm writing some YouTube. Tries to censor stuff. They're kind of silly.
Oh, no. Have you been censored?
Yeah, a couple times. Well, I did some hard-hitting stuff about these fatalities from the vaccines.
Well, share with us. We're not going to censor you. Share with us. I want to hear your take.
Yeah, I analyzed what happened to the doctor in Miami very thoroughly, and how the vaccine ripped him to shreds so badly that he couldn't recover. They couldn't do anything, at least not their approach. He
Oh, my
lost his
goodness.
megakaryocytes. The mRNA
From the vaccine.
Yeah. You can't. And normally you'd have about 400,000 platelets per smear or per analysis per micrometer. He had none, or one out of one instead of 200,000 or something, 400,000.
And
So
this is in response to the vaccine?
Yeah. So he bled. He bled in his brain and died.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
When was
he's an
this? I didn't hear any of this.
Oh, yeah, well, it's like a kind of cover-up thing. And
Wow.
so I analyzed that. I analyzed how vaccines have a history of causing ITP, which is thrombocytopenic purpura, and that it's absolute. And so it's no surprise that this one did in his case. And they yanked it from the Yuba tube.
Do you know about Brand New Tube? Have you heard about Brand New Tube?
I've heard of it. We're going to investigate that. I mean, I did write it on my blog. I have a thorough article on his case on CazIngram.com, and I just stated on the Yuba tube that, look, if I would have moved in on him, I would have rubbed him down on the hospital bed with the oil of oregano super strength. I'd have given him the juice. I'd have given him the oil. I would have done everything to use the oil to burn out the mRNA toxin and all the extraneous bacteria that he's reacting to or whatever. And I would have given him quite a lot of wild camu. You know about that. And
Love camu.
yeah, and that the Purely C formula. And I would have pushed that hard, and I would have pushed the red sour grape, something you don't know about, but it's really good for tightening up the blood vessels. I would have
Red
pushed
sour
the
grape. Now, I hadn't heard of that. What?
Yeah, and then that's a powder or capsule. It's called Resvital, but I would have pushed
Is that a source of resveratrol?
Yes, natural resveratrol from the sour grape. See, the villagers pick the grapes in the Mediterranean when they're sour. There's no sugar in them, and they dry them in the sun. They become a burnt orange, and they've been using them for years for circulatory disease. I found them in an international store 2 decades ago. I said, what do you use this stuff for? Oh, cholesterol, hypertension, and all that. And I did a clinical trial on it. I found it to be effective. So I would have pushed it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. All your stuff, all the stuff that you're talking about, you can get on CazIngram.com, right?
No, I don't sell anything that much there. You have to go to oreganol.com, oregano with an L, or to a really good independent health store, and you can find these things. But what is it? Oh, I was going to say I would push the wild chaga for the bone marrow.
What is chaga? CHAGA?
Yeah, the chaga mushroom off of the tree. I would have pushed the tea. He wasn't NPO. They surrounded him with physicians from all over the world, and they couldn't save the poor son of a gun.
Wow, and this was a bone marrow issue.
Well, yes, the bone marrow and the blood were so poisoned. You know, they gave him a bag of platelets in all of Dade County over and over again, and there was such a toxin inside from the vaccine, it ate every platelet. It aimed at the platelets, and he was meant to die. Now, he was a vaccine advocate, so it's kind of finding out the hard way.
Was he a young guy? Young guy?
Yeah, 50-some. There was another case of a 30-year-old woman, nurse, who took the vaccine and fainted, collapsed
I heard about her.
television.
I heard
they
about
were
that.
saying, what do you think of the vaccine? Oh, it's so good. Oh. And she collapsed. We haven't heard from her since. Not a word.
I haven't heard from her. Oh, you think she died?
She's either brain dead or dead or something. And so there's the cases. I was just reporting on these cases to give a perspective, and they shut it down. Now, look, hey, I'm a big wild oregano guy, right?
Right.
So I already am exposed to COVID, people, because as a physician, I try to help everybody.
Have you been sick at all? Have you been sick at all?
No.
Like symptomatic? No, of course not. Right.
And I've treated. Did you know that I treated a case? This is crazy, of a woman on a respirator who, and I'm getting ready to do a big clinical trial because of all this, who refused to believe in natural medicine. But her daughter works with me. So I said, your mother's going to die on the respirator unless we do something. So I shoved around until I shoved the oregano oil into the hospital and the spray because the daughter wasn't going to do anything. So one nurse rubbed the woman with oregano oil 1 or 2 times, sprayed the spray around. She started bucking off the respirator. Her oxygenation improved, and they extubated her 2 days later or 3 days later and sent her home. From topical administration.
That's amazing. So the stuff got through the blood, got into the bloodstream through the skin.
It neutralized the cytokine storm, my friend. That's what oregano
through the skin, though. But through the skin, you're talking about?
Yes,
that's amazing.
Yes, even it's such a good lymphatic absorption oil. You can't believe. Just topically. I had another guy on a respirator,
Kaz,
on his feet. Got him out.
Hang on to that thought. We got to take a commercial break. I want to finish that up, and then we want to talk about the blues here. Got Dr. Kaz Ingram with us. Always a wealth of information, always entertaining, always a good time. We'll be back with more of Dr. Kaz on the bright side right after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. We're talking to Dr. Kaz Ingram. Dr. Ingram, before we went to break, you were telling us about a second story with topical oregano?
Yeah, this guy was in February. He had influenza B. He might have had if COVID was before it started. His wife, in desperation, grabbed the super strength oregano and rubbed 2 drops on the bottom of his feet, 2 drops on the shin, morning and night. 2 days later, he was watching the Super Bowl with his dad. He gradually improved on his oxygenation. They let him go after 4 or 5 days, and he's still cooking. He's still here. He's 90% fatal. They told him he was going to die.
Wow. I mean, what is it about the oregano that does that for respiration?
The oregano, it turns off that cytokine gene.
Got it.
And it collapses the germs real quick. It just eats them up. It eats that spike protein, all the stuff that they don't want you to talk about, and it just does. I mean, it's not. That's why I have to do the big clinical trial on the oil. I love this Oregaresp. I take it every day. I'm protecting myself with that product. That's the biggest powerhouse there ever was. That stuff with the cumin, the oregano, sage, and cinnamon. And so you're doing the 2 of them and the spray. That's enough. You're
doing oregano every day.
Oh yeah. I do the oregano. I do the capsules with the multiple spice oil capsules I just told you about. I use a lot of the spray on my body, in my home, in the diffuser with some water. Wow. It's just, you got to protect the cribriform plate. You got to protect the nasal sinuses. You got to do something. Too many people getting sick, left and right. I just lost my smell and taste. I get the emails every day. Well, what do I do? And they're mostly mild, but once in a while, I had a friend that she's 70, ex-alcoholic, went to New York, the hot zone, came back, was using a lot of flush toilets, developed the diarrheal COVID-19, and nearly died. Boy, I just had to work hard to get her through that.
What if I formulated a nasal inhaler, a wild oregano nasal inhaler? What do you think of that?
We would need to do that and help you so that you could meter the dose down, but there's no question that could save lives. We use a lot of that through the Sinurega, but we put a little bay leaf and clove bud in there, and people that are on the front line nurses using it are protected. Wow.
What kind of concentration would you do? Like 0.01%?
I have to talk you through that.
Okay.
It's got to be low, otherwise
by low, you mean 0.01% kind of thing? 0.001%?
Maybe more. But the thing is, we have to test it to make sure it's not too burny, so that people will tolerate it.
Right.
And then you might have to put in a few other different oils to modulate the oregano.
I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to have a conversation with you about that.
Yeah, you really should do that. I mean, that's the one thing that does protect people is in the nasopharynx. That's what we did in our human trial. 50 nurses, now 10 months, did not get COVID because we are using a spray at the back of the throat and up the nose. 2 ways. The 2 areas. The mouth is open, the nose is open.
Yeah. How about for gingivitis or gum problems or anything like that? You think there would be some application?
Well, that's where you apply the oregano oil topically or something called Oregadent.
You got oregano for everything. You got oregano for every part of the body.
Because at least it keeps the plaque down and it allows you to survive with a root canal or keep your chewing surfaces by keeping the infection, the abscess, keeping the infection down, and perhaps reducing the invasive dentistry, which is you spend your time brushing your teeth, taking care, flossing, and then you go and have 6 teeth drilled and pulled and every metal device and ground, and it's just so traumatic. And that area right by the brain, so if you can use the oregano to reduce your risks, that's a good thing.
You think putting a couple of drops in your toothpaste?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, there is an oregano toothpaste with sage. It's called Orega Fresh. I love that. I use that. It's so much more pleasant. But you could just put the oil as a dentifrice. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, so you talk a lot about the immune system and about the body internally, systemically, but you're also now, Crystal told me that you're talking about the blues, about mental health.
The blues are an issue because of the decline in sun, the decline in vitamin D, the rotten diet during the holiday, high amounts of sugar and alcohol, and it wouldn't take much with the sun declination and people hitting the sugar and alcohol to become B vitamin deficient. We talk about getting the morale vitamin, thiamine, niacin, getting the B vitamin count higher, making sure we have foods that are rich in B vitamins, using hemp. Now, some people use CBD, they're a little bit more processed kind. I like the raw hemp oil. I find some good results with that.
Which hemp oil do you use? There's all kinds of hemp oil out there. What do you recommend?
I use the hempanol, like a gasohol name, but whatever. Hempanol CF, Calm and Focus. I'm having really good results.
It's not straight hemp oil. Is that a straight hemp oil?
It's straight hemp oil in an olive oil base. No, it's just CO2 hemp. There's no alcohol extraction, glycerin. There's no propane. I'm finding this raw hemp oil to be the better for depression, anxiety, getting off of drugs. That's the best thing. Now, there's a hempanol PM I will also use for anxiety, but that's mainly for insomnia. So between those two, I get the results. But basil's antidepressive, cinnamon, clove, they all have this big terpene, all the same as cannabis, hops, chamomile, they all have the same chemical.
Sage.
All the things we love in small quantities, and we wonder why the cinnamon makes us feel good. It works on the brain, you see.
Are there natural cannabinoids in cinnamon, too?
Yes. All the things I mentioned have a cannabinoids. The same cannabinoid, the big one, beta-carotene, BCP, is in all the things we love. We put the black pepper, we don't use much. We put the cinnamon, we don't use much. We add the cloves to the pie, we don't use much. We add the sage to the stuffing, do we use a lot? We add the oregano to the pizza, it has it too. If we used more of these spices, the basil, our mood would be better.
Wow!
So
and you feel better
do it without, huh?
When you do have spice, when you have certain spices, you actually emotionally feel good. You feel better.
You do. You do
right?
feel good.
I mean, you notice
do,
it.
Especially this list. It's not in turmeric. It's not in ginger. They're good though. It's in these things I mentioned.
Yeah.
There's about 10. Oh, well, send me the list. Well, what do you want me to do? You send me an email to droregano@gmail.com, droregano@gmail.com. But it's in my book, The Hemp Oil Miracle and the Cannabis Cure. The Hemp Oil Miracle talks about it. These cannabinoid-rich spices. Hemp is probably the best. And then I would say hops, then basil and oregano.
You said the Hemp Oil Miracle. What was the second book?
The Cannabis Cure. They have to go to KazIngram.com.
All right, I'm going to go there myself.
Look, go to my non-commercial website. The books are there. You've got the money, you got the purse, I got the books. We make a marriage. But besides that, it's completely informational. There's no links to products that I know of. There's links to articles. There's information. There's YouTube. There's what do you call that? Blogs. There's
great stuff on there. There's great stuff on KazIngram.com.
And these are non-commercial, like PBS. So even when I do my podcast, I'm not talking about 40 different products. You have to make that decision up yourself, and you just get the information.
What do you think? What do you think about straight beta carotene?
Well, no, it's not as good as the sources. Like you want the synergy of the hemp oil with 80 cannabinoids, including BCP. You want the synergy of hops with 60 cannabinoids or whatever it has in it. And, well, actually, it doesn't have that many. Hemp has the cannabinoids and the extra cannabinoids. The extra cannabinoids are the terpenes. So it's the one with the most. Yeah.
Now, when you say hemp, do you mean hemp seed oil, correct? The seed oil.
No, not hemp seed oil. It doesn't have it. Has to be from the leaf, the flower, the plant. They CO2 extract that.
Got it.
And that's, in the green matter, that's where the BCP is and all the cannabinoids, which help with epilepsy, seizures, it helps with nervousness and autism, ADD, ADHD. Got to have it. That's the hemp and all CF.
Kaz, you're just amazing. You're an amazing wealth of information. I really appreciate talking to you. Thanks so much.
Let's talk about that. Just have your pharmacy prepare a couple things that people will need.
I'll give you a call this week. Thank you so much, Kaz. Appreciate it. Bye. Website, KazIngram.com. He's got podcasts. He's got his podcast on there as well, and also his books. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side, friends. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.